Talking about commitments, I mean, you have, like you said, you don't have regrets about the budget. And here we have a situation where, again, I don't hear a specific plan that you would talk about in terms of this election that's coming up to say to the people, you know what, we did spend this much money from the county and we will be spending money over years, but we have a plan in place. We're working with the city, we're prioritizing permits so that retailers can come in, so that developers can build new residential. I mean, whatever it is that's going on in Mary Brickell downtown, what is it that you would do going forward to champion, like you did the budget, to champion the Port Tunnel, to champion Marlins and the mega plan? What is it that you would do specifically to provide redevelopment in that area?
Well, I mean, I would have to work with the city of Miami. That is in the city. That is
Right.
in the city of Miami. So it's not something that I can. But I mean, I talked it over with Mayor Diaz at length. I haven't had the opportunity to discuss it as much with the Mayor Regalado.
Right.
But you know, it is the city of Miami. But there was a clear understanding with Mayor Diaz that we would work hand in hand to making sure that that there would be adequate transportation, and that we would work hand in hand in expediting the process and working with Durham to make it easy, and doing a lot of things, not only in that property, but in other properties in the downtown area where there's possibilities. So it's a matter of the city of Miami and the county working together, and you know that relationship has to exist. Unfortunately, Mayor Regalado was not a big supporter of the stadium, but once it's built, I mean, you can see the structure going up. It's ahead of schedule. It's under budget. You know, a lot of people doubted that would ever happen. They would compare it to the Performing Arts Center, you know, once that goes up, I think he will realize that the possibilities are endless for an area that, quite frankly, needs it.
So are you going to sit down with Mayor Regalado and have a conversation about this in the next few weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
And last question. Thank you again for sitting through this. We continue, as I said earlier, to have Miami be one of the poorest cities in the country. And when I had a conversation recently with Mr. Bremen about poverty and the challenges in our community for the poorest that live among us, he said that job creation would be the way out. Is there something that the county is doing specifically to try and turn around how people live in this county?
Oscar, like I said before, job creation is, I think what's going to get us out of this hole, I don't think, I know, it's the private sector. It's small businesses. It's working to make sure that as a county we're facilitating, and we are. We are working with small businesses. We are expediting processes. We have a small business department that is helping out small businesses. It is going to be the private sector that creates jobs. The role of the public sector is extremely important. And for someone that, I mean, everything that I do, especially in the last several years, is how is this going to help in easing the unemployment, especially in the area of construction. And that's one of the reasons, not just the only reason. That's why I have championed all these projects, because as we speak, there are 1,000 people working in the North Terminal. There's going to be over 400 people in the tunnel. And what the county has to do is invest in infrastructure projects. And while those infrastructure projects are ongoing, you're going to have several hundred people, however big the project is, working. Now, those projects have a beginning and an end. So while they're ongoing, people are employed. But the goal is that the dredge or the tunnel, that people will have jobs for a period of 3, 4, 5 years. But the goal is that creates 30,000 plus jobs in the private sector, because that's what keeps our economy going. So, you know, I don't believe that government creates jobs. I mean, they create jobs for the short term. Our role is to make us competitive to make us attractive for someone to, if they're looking for a place to relocate or start a business, that they do it here. And but that, you know, that has to do with a whole bunch of quality of life issues.
Right.
You know, if our crime rate was up, nobody would want to come here.
Right.
I mean, I've been around long enough to tell you that in 1980, you couldn't get a tourist down here. I can tell you that in the early 90s, you couldn't get a tourist to come down here.
Yeah.
So, you know, we take a lot of other things for granted that are not directly job related. But, you know, public safety, the fact that this year when we have our press conference, we're going to have, last year in 2009, 2 years ago, if you compare 2009 with 2008, every class 1 crime, every single one of them, which are the serious ones, compared to 2008, went down. And when you compare 2010 with 2009, every single class 1 crimes went down. So that means that every class 1 crimes in the last 2 years has gone down. Now, obviously, we live in a large urban setting where there's still a lot of career criminals and violent crime, and we saw it last week when 2 officers were shot in the line of duty. So, you know, when you talk about statistics, you've got to be very careful, because if you're the one victim,
Right.
you don't care about statistics and you don't care that the rate is going down.
Right.
But there's 2.5 million people that live here. We have millions of people that visit us, and the reality is that some things are going to occur. But as long as the trend is going down in every category, violent and nonviolent, you know, we're doing something right. When, you know, when our fire department is the largest fire department in the nation to be accredited, they just got that. That's something to be proud of.
Right.
When our Juvenile Assessment Center got an award from the White House for their work with juveniles, when the director of the Juvenile Center has been named the Secretary of Juvenile Justice by the new governor, that's something to be proud of.
Right.
When our Parks Department wins an award that has never been won by any Parks Department in the state of Florida, that's something to be proud of. So it's about investing in a lot of things that make our community attractive. And that's why, you know, we're literally all over the place. In the area of sustainability, we've developed a plan, a roadmap called Greenprint, so that every county department, not only that, but the private sector can join us in making this a more sustainable community. It's about parks, green space. It's about, you know, public safety. It's about water and sewer. You know, we were only reusing 5% of the water that we used. We're going to go up to about 45%, which is huge when you're talking about a county this size. So it's a lot of investments that we're doing. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, this is not the time to be investing. These are not the times to be doing these things. When I say, no, this is the time. Because once we come out of this recession, whatever you want to call it, we will be ready and we will be competitive to be able to compete with other markets.
Got it. Well, I want to thank you all for coming today, and also please thank our mayor for allowing us to have this conversation.
Thank you very much, Oscar.
All right.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.